Morning or afternoon, depending on what time of day you're consuming this evergreen material. So let me just get set up here and make sure we are good. Take just a moment to get it all. Mic check. Facebook, we're ready to roll. Nobody want to put the bone to the bank, Mic check. We're all good to go. All right, we are ready to ride, ready to roll, ready to ride or die. EFX, you want it, we got it, get it. Gotta do this, baby, ride or die. What y'all really want? What y'all really want? All right. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day you are consuming this. Great to have you. If you are new to me, new to this channel, new to this podcast, new to my world, let me just introduce myself really quick. My name, I am Aswand Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon to be 6-time published author and educator. I create a whole business, a whole brand, a whole concept, a whole movement that's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and aligning them, making sure they're in alignment with you as a business owner, with business owners, so they have a group of employees, so they have a staff that moves as efficiently as a championship high school football team. You walking around, you got that business, you got that hungry group of employees that are moving just like that championship team. Everybody's on point, everybody's holding each other accountable, everybody is just motivated, they're eager to show up to work every single day. That's where I want to get you all. That is my goal, my mission, what my hope is for all of you. Today, we are back for another Top 5 Tuesday. Oh, we got a Top 5 Tuesday. We got a Top 5 Tuesday as we do every single Tuesday. We've been doing this. Man, it's crazy. It is crazy to me every time I think about it, how this whole Top 5 Tuesday came about. It really was. And it's so funny because the person who started the Top 5 Tuesday, kind of like in my mind, is still relevant to this day, has only grown until like she became the sports person of the year. It was when all this Caitlin Clark stuff was going down. This was back when she played at Iowa in her senior season at Iowa, and the world, I mean, it just captured the attention of the entire world. Yeah, a little white girl just out there hooping, tuning people up. I mean, just straight hitting them with the step backs from the logo, looking at the crowd like, It was just, again, me coming from the DMV, me being born and raised in Maryland, where basketball, we run shit when it comes to basketball. I ain't gonna lie, when you first see it, you're like, word? Because I first caught wind of it when she was a junior, and it was like, word. Like, Caitlin Clark is about that life, right? So, all that was going on, and, seeing that she's from Iowa and that she went there and she stayed home, I did a Top 5 Tuesday that was all about my top 5 college hometown heroes. And that's where the idea started. It was my college hometown heroes because Caitlin Clark inspired the idea. My top 5 personally, being that my business is all about college athletics, and a lot of the things I do, a lot of the things I learn come from college athletics. So I did a video about my top 5 college hometown heroes, me personally, the ones I've witnessed in my lifetime. One of them obviously was Caitlin Clark, because she was capturing the world's attention. The next one was Tim Tebow. The next one was Tim Tebow at the University of Florida, stayed home. Then you had Sean Merriman from Maryland, and I'm a DMV guy, played linebacker. He was on that list. Reggie Bush was on that list, and Skylar Diggins was on it. Reggie Bush out of USC, and then Skylar Diggins out of South Bend, Indiana. She went to Notre Dame. college, but she was a college basketball. She's still in the WNBA actually, but she was a whole lot bigger when she was back in college, and she's my age. So, I was seeing her around the time I was in college and stuff like that. And that's what started off. That's what started off. And every single week since then, it's been just constant coming over the top 5 Tuesday. So today we're going to stick to the theme, stick to what we've been talking about what we will be talking about. We started talking about last week, but what we will be discussing throughout the week, which is the flaws, the flaws that you have in yourself, the flaws that you walk around with, that you sort of ignore, that you can get in the habit. It can be easy to ignore certain flaws in your life because, when you start tapping into that comfort zone, when you start tapping into a comfort zone, it becomes something that you start to crave, and you start craving comfort and moving in the direction in which you're looking to become more comfortable about certain things. And when you move in that direction, when you go in the direction of comfort, eventually it will become the death of your business. It'll be like a slow knife turning into your business because you're moving in the direction of comfort. Same thing in your relationships. If you're in a serious relationship, or if you're married and you're starting to move in the direction of you two comforting each other and not really holding each other accountable for what it is you're trying to do, it'll be very much like a slow knife, just twisting and twisting and twisting. Before you know it, the whole shit will fall apart. All right. So you gotta understand what your flaws are, expose your flaws, and then work towards improvement. So what I did last week is FaceTime the 2 people that really do pay a lot of attention. I mean, when I say know me best, I mean they know me. They know where my heart is. They know what it is I want to do. They know the goals, and a lot of things. Pretty much everything about me is my lady and my mom. So what happened was I FaceTimed them both back to back, and I did this honestly for me just as much as them. But I wanted to hear what she said, and then I wanted to hear what my mom said. I wanted to compare it. I wanted to see, all right, is it kind of in alignment with what I was thinking? And I asked them. So I asked them both. I said, hey, can you name me my top 5 flaws? And flattering as it is to actually say now, neither one of them was able to come up with a full 5 list. They kind of tapped out at 3, and then we kind of thought through the last 2. But the point of it is I'm expressing that to you guys because as business owners and folks that want to be leaders, it's important that you get folks around you that you do the same thing. You do this same thing with, and you ask them, hey, how can I be improving? What can I be doing? Always be trying to do that, because when you do that, it keeps you sharp. It keeps you on edge. It keeps you pushing to get better. All right, to get better. So all that being said, I got a little ahead of myself there. Let me get through a few announcements. Let me get through 2 real quick announcements, and then we'll jump right into the article. And I'm going to walk you through the entire list that I have written down. I'll read the article directly to you all, and we will go from there. So be sure you are liking, commenting, and subscribing to this channel where we do it every day, from solo episodes to just well over 100 other interviews with other guests that have done some incredible things. Subscribe to this channel and you will not have any more. You won't need it. There'll be nothing more you need to be listening to if your goal is to build a solid team, and if your goal is to build a business that has a strong foundation rooted in innovative teamwork and knowing how to adjust and work with people. If that's what you're looking for, this is the channel for you. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe to it, because we're not stopping. We're not slowing down. In fact, we're putting an exclamation point. We're going faster now. We're going faster now, especially after this episode and the list that I was able to gather between the 2 people that I talked to you about. So anyway, let me get to the announcements. I'm getting off topic. I'm getting off topic. First things first, business owners, if you have not yet, make sure you go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com. That is free, FREE, free. All right, you like free. Freeguide.makeyourmove.com. Make sure you get a 10 steps, basically a 10-step process, 10-step list that I created in which you could be utilizing right now in your business so you have a team that's moving more efficiently. I'll give you kind of the quick equation now to make sure, kind of the litmus test to see if you're doing it the right way. Number one, you need to have had established measurables. All right. You have to make sure everybody that walks into your business or that is involved with your business, there's a measurable that's established that they know they need to get to. That's number one. Next thing, you need to make sure there's a professional distance between yourself and the employee or the staff. All right. Established measurables plus the professional distance. There's an equal sign. Think in your head. There's an equal sign now to a productive environment. Established measurables plus professional distance. That's what leads to the productive environment, which is what you want. And it's something that needs to be incorporated on a day-to-day basis. All right. Day-to-day basis. You need to have that measurable, just like when you're in football, you're playing. And if you are new around here, just know a lot of my examples come from the football world, but you're playing X team this week, and throughout the week, these are the things that we need to see based on what we're going to be getting and how we need to execute this play. These are the measurables. And you as the coach, you have to have a professional distance between yourself and whatever player you're teaching this thing to. That's going to lead to a productive practice. You want every single day like that in your business. All right. You want it like that because game day's coming. Game day's coming every single day. Game day's not just when someone shows up. Game day is every single day. So this stuff has to be moving in a very, very cohesive way. All right. So that sounds like you. Next thing you need to be doing is going to just go to makeyourmove.com. That's makeymove.com. Do your research on me. If you need to, you can get your free guide there. You can come book me to speak there. You can just learn more about me. You can shop. You can listen to the podcast. Whatever it is you need to do to make it so you have me successfully vetted out and understand that I'm more than qualified to come in and teach your business owner, teach your staff how to do this the right way. Whatever it is you need to do, it's right there on makeyourmove.com. It's all exposed. It's right there on the internet. So just do what you have to do. Look forward to hearing from you, business owner that is struggling with turnover and the issues that you have. All right. So all that being said, let's get right into the list. Let's get right into my top five. Top five. Again, breaking down, podcast listeners, I'm breaking down, looking directly at the article, and I'm breaking down my top five flaws that I asked people that are close to me to come up with, and that me and these people actually thought through and said, hey, this would be exactly what it is. This is the issues that I can admit to having, and this is what I'm going to work to do to get better. All right. So reading directly from the article, let's get this thing going. Let's get this thing going. Actually, before I start, let me get a sip of water. All right. My top five flaws exposed for the internet and for growth. All right. Let's get real. You can't expect to lead teams, develop talent, or build systems if you're too afraid to confront your own blind spots. So in the spirit of transparency, growth, and leadership development, I'm putting my own flaws out there. Yes, I'm putting my ass on the line, or better yet, online with this one. All right. You like how I did that? I'm putting my ass on the line, or nowadays you're putting your ass online or on the line, whatever it is. You like how I did that? All right. Anyway, with this one. Why? Because if I want business owners to trust me to help build their teams through employee development workshops, I've got to prove I'm doing that work on myself first. Before I wrote this list, I FaceTimed my girlfriend and my mother back to back. It was like a back-to-back thing. If I was to bring these two were people these were the type of people that were, internet, are speaking publicly regularly on the internet and stuff like that. I would bring them on right now, and I could prove to you the times it was back to back. I FaceTimed them just out of the blue and say, hey, I need to hear this. And they were both very excited, by the way. I'm very excited to really, beat me up a little bit, or let me not say beat me up. They were excited to think about the question, which I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because they're not bad people or anything like that. I'm saying that because when you're talking about relationship, we're not speaking in romantic terms. All right. In fact, very little to do with romantic terms at all. It's more so about, are you bringing people in your inner circle that are excited to help you improve and get you to the places where your goals are. You putting your dreams, like I mentioned, putting your ass online, putting yourself out there enough when it's just you and the other person, when it's just you two people, not you and all these other people that you want to show off in front of. I'm talking about when it's you, the other person. Hey, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me where I need to get better. In fact, I'll tell you a story real quick story. I got to tell this story. Because I had mentioned Tim Tebow earlier, right? So there was the whole big thing with Tim Tebow when he was playing in the NFL. And he got cut. I believe he got cut by the Patriots, was his last stop in the NFL. So he continued to work out. He continued to try out. He wasn't done playing football. So this was back when Trent Dilfer, he used to do a lot of like quarterback camp stuff and evaluate quarterbacks and stuff like that. So Tim Tebow was working as an ESPN, like an ESPN guy covering the game or whatever it was, one of these little ESPN anchors or whatever. But that's just what he was doing. But he was still training to get into the league, right? So Trent Dilfer told this story on live TV on camera. He goes, look, Tim Tebow called me. He called me and he said he wanted it to just be you, me and him one-on-one. And he said, I want an honest evaluation on where I am as a quarterback and if I have a shot in playing in the NFL again as a quarterback. And this is the story. I'm telling you, he told the story live on ESPN. This is, like I said, back when Trent Dilfer was doing his thing with ESPN. And he's like, look, he wanted, and in fact, Trent Dilfer is coaching. Hold on one second. Trent Dilfer is coaching at Tulane right now. He's coaching at Tulane. Dilfer, I believe he's coaching at UAB. That's it. Yeah, he's coaching at UAB. He's coaching at UAB now, actually. Yeah, so this was back when he was this was back when he was working at ESPN. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up real quick. Let me see if I could pull something up, right? If I could pull it up real quick. Yep, it was something like this. Yeah, it was something very similar. For the podcast listeners, I looked up Tim Tebow and Trent Dilfer, and it was something like this where he was evaluated. He actually asked Trent Dilfer to evaluate him and give him an honest evaluation on what he looked like as a quarterback, how he was, whatever it was. And again, look at it's little pictures of it is online or whatever it is. But the point is, Tim Tebow asked specifically, hey, am I a quarterback? Can I do what it is I need to do? And obviously you got the answer based on his play. But the bottom line is he had the mindset. He had the mindset of, I want to get better. And I want people around me that are going to hold my ass accountable to do that. I challenge you all to get around folks that do this, because the blessing that comes with it is that you really get clear on where your faults are. When somebody tells you some shit about yourself and hey, where you need to be improving, you're able to receive it and say, okay, I'm gonna get better. But don't be a pushover, right? I'm not telling you to go be a pushover and just let somebody smack you around all day. But I'm telling you, you should have the mentality of, I want the people who are closest to me to be the people that are not afraid to tell me when I need to get my shit together. All right. That's what needs to happen. All right. Too often do I see folks running around in a comfort zone and not improving themselves because they're always, like I said, they're always looking for people that are just going to coddle them and all this bullshit. All right. In fact, that's the problem I deal with. Like 90% of my day is dealing with that bullshit, is when you get adults who coddle kids too much and then they wonder why the kids aren't improving. You wonder why behavior is not improving. You wonder why certain things aren't improving in our society. It's because everyone's being coddled. Anyway, I can get on a tangent with that. Let me get back to the article, which is actually one of the flaws that we're going to be talking about today. But anyway, let me get back to the article. 2 women who know me better than anyone. Funny enough, Neither of them. So this is what happened when I FaceTime, right? Neither of them could come up with 5 flaws. They both tapped out around 3. That was flattering. It was. I'll be honest with you. Being that, again, these are 2 people, know me the best. They couldn't come up with a full 5 list. We had to think through a couple of them as they really put some thought into it. They couldn't come up with a full 5. So that was flattering, knowing, hey, I am trying, I'm putting in the work, I'm doing what I have to do to provide and all that other stuff. So I filled the rest. So here it is. Top 5 flaws of Aswan Crookshank, unfiltered and in full view. Number 1, I put my foot in my mouth. Yeah. Yep, that one was that one definitely was true. They'll say it like that. That one definitely was true. Reading directly from the article right here now, folks. All right. So let's start with the most fitting. I never set out to be a public speaker, which is true. It's something I fell into and found out I was pretty damn good at it. But here's the catch. When you speak often and confidently and sometimes say things that are inaccurate, exaggerated, or flat out unnecessary, I've learned the hard way that confidence without clarity can cause confusion or worse, harm. So I've become intentional about my words, because if I want people to trust what I say, I've got to say less and mean more. Now, this actually took me back to times back when I was early 20s and just graduated college. And I would get so like confident when I would tell my mother about certain job prospects. I'm like, man, I got it, man. That was easy. I'd go on a job interview or whatever, and I'd tell my mom, man, I got that thing. Man, listen, they're gonna be hiring me, be calling me in the next hour. If they don't call and I would tell her, you got it. And my mother, and as I would find out I didn't get some job or whatever opportunity I might have been talking, it might not even have been a job. It could have just been a conversation that I was having with somebody. She would kind of, sarcastically say, this is what you told me, son. I got it, Ma. I got it. That's easy. And that's what I realized, because this was before I actually started speaking publicly. And that's where I realized at times I could put my own damn foot in my mouth, because you gotta think I met my girl after, all the stuff about me is on the internet and I'm regularly speaking and regularly on YouTube. So she's seeing the side that's decided, hey, I'm going to more so put these conversations, I'm going to make sure I have a public presence, versus my mother, who would see me back when I didn't have any public presence at all. I didn't even have a damn account. I didn't, wasn't on social media or anything like that. So again, whether you're talking about someone that's speaking publicly or just having private conversation, it's important, that I understand, hey, I could put my foot in my mouth based on some of the things that I say. And it's very, very important that I understand that going in. All right. So the way I improve that is just like it says here in the article, I've got to say less and mean more, which is what I've sort of started doing even with this show. I made sure, hey, I'm cutting it at 45 minutes, making sure I'm sticking to a theme throughout the week, so it's not as random. I'm not just giving my opinions on current events, stuff that I haven't actually been a part of, or something that I just in the news or I read in the news or whatever. I'm more so saying, hey, let me get control of my ability to be a public speaker, so I don't put my foot in my mouth as often. Now, if you're going to be a public speaker, I'm going to close you out. We'll get to number 2 after I say this, is if you're going to be a public speaker and you're going to be out there publicly, expressing and talking about certain things, you're going to put your foot in your mouth at some point. All right. It's going to happen. You just have to reduce the amount of times that you do put your foot in your mouth. But just know it's just part of the game. All right. It's part of the game of being in the public speaking business and part of the game of being a thought leader. That it will happen. Just figure out ways to reduce it happening so damn often, to the point where you just become a bullshitter. All right. There's a subtle difference between somebody that puts his foot in his mouth every once in a while to you just being full of shit. Right? There's a huge difference between the two. There's a huge difference. And the more people hear you speak, whether it's privately or publicly, they're going to be able to make the difference. They're going to be able to figure out the going to be able to figure out they're going to be able to decipher the difference between a person who's full of shit and a person who is, puts his foot in his mouth, puts his or her foot in their mouths every once in a while. All right. So that's number one. Put my foot in my mouth. It happens. Number two, I'm cheap. This one. Oh boy, it's because it's taking me back. And the thing is, I called these two knowing certain things were gonna make this list regardless. I knew going in, certain things were gonna make the list regardless. So one, I'll have you try to guess the one. So one said I was excessively frugal, and the other said I'm cheap. He's cheap. I'm pretty sure you can guess. I'm pretty sure you can guess which one said your ass is cheap. All right, if you know my mother, you know that was easily the one. So let me just read the article directly, and then we'll address it. So my girlfriend graciously calls it excessively frugal. Excessively frugal was the term she used, and then my mother says your ass is just cheap. Cheap. All right. Either way, they're both right. They were both right. After losing, and this is what I talked about yesterday, after losing everything at 25, I've been extremely careful with money. I had an idea to launch my own minor league football team in Ocean City, Maryland. It wasn't a bad idea. It just lacked funding. That failure reset my life and taught me to treat every dollar like an investment, not an impulse. So yes, I'm cheap, but I'm also disciplined. And in today's economy, that's not a bad flaw to have. I'm going to say it again. In today's economy, the way money is just absolutely prices, shit is just climbing. All right. It's skyrocketing. It's going higher and higher and higher. It's not a bad flaw to have to be excessively frugal. The thing you have to understand now in this digital age, digital world we live in, to where you can, I can literally sit at there's people, not only I can do it, but there's multiple people that currently do it. They sit at a Starbucks all day and make millions of dollars because of the internet, right? In fact, just the other day, just a couple of weeks ago, I was at a Starbucks, and like one Saturday morning, and the lady walks by me and she sees me like super focused on my laptop. She looks at me, she goes, "Are you one of those like internet millionaires that's just sitting here making money all day on your top?" All right. And to that answer, our answer is like, hey, soon, not the millions yet, but it's coming. It's coming. You better believe it, right? So the point I'm making is this flaw has to, when you're talking about being cheap or excessively frugal, it has to be, when it comes to money, and this is just, again, you're speaking to someone that literally lost everything, absolutely just everything gone, just because of an idea that there was nothing wrong with the idea, just an idea that I moved too fast on. The thing about money, it is so important that that you're investing in relationships. All right, I'm gonna say it again, nice and slow for the people in the back. You have to invest in relationships. If I didn't take money out of my own pocket and pay someone to coach me, pay to be a part of a coaching program in which someone could do a full diagnostics of my business and what it is I need to be doing, where it is I need to be focusing, I would not be on camera right now. I would not have the material out there for people to consume the way it is. I would not have the sellable stuff that is on the internet right now had I not gone out and paid someone who has done it at high levels and does it at a higher level than myself. All right. You have to do it. Being cheap and excessively frugal means, all right, I have this coaching program that costs, let's say, a couple $1,000 versus me going to some club in Miami and on South Beach and spending the same amount of money and, picking the two. That's what I mean. One's an investment in you and your business and your future. The other one's you clout chasing and acting like you have it all together, acting like you know what the fuck it is you're doing. All right. And one of my favorite clips was Weezy, Lil Wayne. He was like, fuck you want to be in the club looking like you do something for, and you don't do it. Fuck you want to be in the club looking like you got it like that, and you don't really got it. You want to be, what do you want to be in the club on time, like doing something, clubbing and partying? What you want to be doing that for, and you don't looking like you're doing something, looking like you got like bread like that. Never wanted to be that. There's too much of that bullshit in my family, and me personally, after having, again, 25 lost, gone, everything gone because of an idea, I swore I would never, ever, ever be like that. So yes, I will own that. Cheap, excessively frugal, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, the money I do make is going to be directly in alignment, directly an investment in the relationships that I value the most in life. That is the mentality, because when you've lost it all, anybody if I'm talking to somebody, hit the like, hit the comment, subscribe, share it out. If I'm talking to somebody, when you've lost it all, literally not a motherfucking penny in your account, when you've literally lost it all, phone, car, it all, when you can see it from the bottom up, it changes you. It resets you, and it changes you. And you start appreciating the small things. And then for me, when I first got to South Florida, it was 2 part-time jobs that I had to make work because they were my dream situations. I've always had the dream of, aligning with a boxing gym and aligning a boxing gym with a pro NFL franchise, and kind of being that go-between and that bridge between what those 2 organizations were all about. And that's where Swiftly came. It was birthed from 2 part-time jobs that I would not have been able to take these 2 part-time jobs if I was not single at the time. All right. That's the reality of the situation. So yes, everybody comes with baggage. Everybody comes with certain things. Everybody comes to the table with certain flaws. It's up to you to admit these flaws, move on them, and make the best out of the situation that's at hand. All right, let me move on to the next one, because I'm gonna start preaching real soon on that. I'm gonna start preaching real soon on that one. Number 3, we're gonna go to number 3, and it's kind of, number 3 is a little bit kind of a reflection of number 2, which is the cheap and frugal one, but it's more so. So number 3, let me read it directly for the podcast listeners. So number 3 is, I can be unrealistic with my plans. Okay. Back to that football team idea. It wasn't the dream that was the problem. All right. So the football team idea I'm referring to is the Ocean City Sharks idea. So back to the Ocean City Sharks idea that I had, and the thing that left me, broke, reputation, name muddied up with a bunch of players that I was looking to serve. Right. So back to that team idea. It wasn't the dream that was the problem. It was the execution. I had a big vision, but not enough capital. And when you live through failure like that, you start creating backup plans on top of backup plans that can make ideas look unrealistic to people who haven't experienced that level of risk and recovery. But I'd rather be called unrealistic than play small. That's not how you win. Say it to them in the back now. Say it to them for the people in the back, okay? When you're talking about a situation where, again, this is kind of where both of them tapped out. Like I said, they came over like 3 and 4 are a little similar in terms of where the flaw came from. So when you're talking about me being unrealistic with my plans, let's go back to this Ocean City Sharks idea, all right? The city of Ocean City needed they're not only did they need it, they already had a minor league baseball team. Me and my mother, we drove out to Ocean City the day it was a huge blow up between my father and I when it came to this idea. It was when I quit my job at Spunk, and I was like, look, I'm going full time with it. And it was a huge blow up between me and my dad. And then, my mother took me out to breakfast, and we drove out to Ocean City. On the way to Ocean City, we realized that there was a minor league baseball team that looked just like the type of football team that I was trying to build. All right. This is what happened. I'm not bullshitting you. All right. This is what happened. So once I saw it, I schedule a meeting with this baseball team, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to build a football team like this. I drive all around Ocean City. I join the Chamber of Commerce. I do so much just to get an understanding that the idea and the team actually was a need. All right. The problem was the execution of it. I just simply didn't have income coming in regularly where I could put my own money in it. So by the time the idea started getting out to the players, it was very unrealistic to think that, okay, he as one man is just going to be able to get the money to pay all these players. So the dream wasn't the problem. The execution was the problem. And when it comes to me being called unrealistic, I'll take it all day, because I understood that even though that the idea never panned out, it was just a matter of me not positioning myself like I am now, where there's a check coming in every 2 weeks, there's money coming in, there's a regular stream of income that can be invested in the right person if they believe in where you're going and what you're doing. When you live through something like that, and again, shout out to moms. You're gonna hear mom a lot throughout this list because we've been on some journeys, boy. So when she drove me out there that day, and I saw how it was working, then I set the meeting up with the name of the team was the Delmar Tyrants. No. Shorebirds, yeah, the Delmar Shorebirds was the name of the team in Ocean City. When I scheduled that meeting, I started to see the connection, and then I started to get some contacts with that organization, and then I was meeting certain people. All of that stuff was happening, and I remember as I was explaining it to her, she's like, oh man, everything is just starting to connect. Again, the only issue was not enough capital, but the actual idea and the thing you wanted to do was great. You just got to make sure that the money's coming in. And that's where in my opinion, that's probably was the best lesson that I got as a business owner myself, to where listen, you can go and pay for your logos or pay for your t-shirts and pay for all the other bullshit that comes with running the business. Your ass needs to make sure the damn money's coming in so you can attract and bring people with you as you move forward. All right. So that's number 3. And as we get from number 3 to number 4, I'll go over number 4 real quickly. So because my number 4 was the one my mother came up with, because she was more so focused on the right now. And as she was really thinking through, it was funny because I FaceTimed her while she was at work. I normally don't do that, but I FaceTimed her while she was at work. So she was in work mode, and she's, telling her drivers what to do and doing this. So she was in full blown, okay, son needs me to give him some some fight. And it was actually the day before her birthday, so she was ready to roll, man. She was ready to roll, always ready. And see, that's what it's all about, always being ready. That mentality of always being ready. So number 4 is I get too excited and drift off topic. This was all right, let me read the article real quick so you guys hear it directly for the podcast listeners. So this one came straight from my mom during our FaceTime. She told me that when I start speaking, I get so fired up about a story or concept that I'll start strong, drift into a side tangent, and forget to come back to the original point. As a content creator, that's growth edge. That's a growth edge I'm actively working on. It's not about being less passionate. It's about being more disciplined in how I deliver that passion. Say it. Now, she didn't come up with that last part. As I took in the information, as I took in her feedback, this is me taking in her feedback and saying, okay, because I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you say. This is a direct conversation that I had with her last week when I did this. I said, okay, I see what you're saying, because there are times where I feel the same way. There are times where I actually have said the same thing to myself, to where I might have started on one story and then something came up. Just saying earlier today when the Team Tebow stuff and Trent Dilfer thing came up, I had absolutely no idea that I was going to tell that story until I started speaking on camera. I didn't know. All right. And this is more so a sign of me being passionate, being observant, remembering certain things that have stuck in my mind. But at the same time, it's still important that I establish discipline as I deliver the passion. Okay. You got to establish discipline as you deliver the passion, because you want to make sure you have the passion. The passion has got to be there, and it's got to be clear. It's got to be, 1000% clear for anybody that's listening to you that you're passionate about what the hell it is you're doing, or else what the hell would be the point of listening to your ass if you weren't passionate. But the discipline is what's going to keep folks around, attract the right folks. So you really understand. They really understand this is a life-changing opportunity, a business-changing opportunity. Every opportunity that I can listen to them is something I could be doing now to get better. All right. Something I could be doing now to get better. All right. So that was number 4. And number 5, this was sort of thought through between myself and my mother. Like we sort of thought through this one together as we closed out. So we closed out the top 5. Is I don't market my brand enough. This one's 100% on me. All right. Built a brand, move swift plus LY, also known as move swiftly, that can serve athletes, teachers, business owners, content creators, and corporate teams alike. Say it again. Built a brand, move swiftly, that can serve athletes, teachers, business owners, content creators, and corporate teams alike. But because I'm so focused on the work, I sometimes forget to promote the damn work. All right. This was a mix because it was between my mother saying that and my girl actually telling me, look, I didn't hear you say like, comment, and subscribe on your video. Say like, comment, and subscribe. You got to do that. You know, these are things that it's crazy because they're saying the same thing, but they're saying it in a different way. And as hopefully you've heard me say it more often now, hey, like, comment, subscribe, share, put this out, send this to somebody that you know needs it. You know, all of that stuff is I'm working into my speech as I start getting going, because when you're the person that's actually doing the work, you're focused on getting the work done. You're focused on putting some damn quality shit out there. You're not focused as much as telling people, or you're not focused so much as marketing some logo or marketing some website or putting something out there, as focused as you are on the damn work. It's like when I used to be the trainer at 9 Round. All right. I was actually focused on teaching someone how to throw a jab, how to throw a cross, how to put their 1s and 2s together, as opposed to promoting 9 Round. All right. This is something that when you're actually focused on the work, you're going to need to put other folks around you that are going to help you see these blind spots in terms of what it is you're doing. All right. Because if no one knows about you, if no one knows about it, what the hell good is it for you to put it out there? Right. So sometimes I forget to promote the work. Not anymore. You can mark my words. This will not be a flaw in 2026. I'm telling you right now, this one hit home, because this will not be an issue in 2026 as I'm getting more focused, as I'm getting more aligned, as things are now starting to become very, very clear in terms of where you want to really plant your flag, where it is you want to raise your family, where it is you want to really put the roots down and continue to build and grow and have your legacy, compared to where things were when I lost everything for this Ocean City Sharks idea. As I look at my credit scores now, look at what I'm doing now, look at the ability to come on and speak on this show and all this, it's night and day. And it's all God giving, all God being there and being consistent and teaching consistency. That's what it's all about. So let me close you out with this final thought. This isn't about shame. It's about ownership. The flaws you're willing to name are the ones you can work with. And the more honest we are with ourselves, the more impact we can have on others. I don't claim perfection, but I do claim progress. And I bring the same mindset to every team I work with. Period, point blank, end of sentence. So just to recap, we're breaking down my top 5 flaws for you guys to hear, whether you guys want to go listen to this or you want to read it on medium.com. Breaking down my top 5 flaws on Top 5 Tuesday. Number 1, put my foot in my mouth as a public speaker, as someone fell into the public speaking game. It's going to happen. The goal here, the key here, is to be a person that subtly at times puts their foot in their mouth, instead of just being a bullshit person that just talks bullshit. All right. There's a lot of those out there that you could find, versus a person that subtly, hey, at times, come on, you don't got to say all that. But there are people making a good living just talking bullshit all day. There's a ton of those. I don't want to be one of those. So I'll take that one. Next one, I'm cheap or excessively frugal, depending on who you ask. Again, when you have seen the bottom, when you've seen literally everything gone, wiped away because of something that was going on in your own head that fell through, it's going to happen. You're going to try to squeeze as much out of every penny that you get. You see life in a completely different way. Number 3, I can be unrealistic with my plans. Again, something I can own, something I would rather be a person that is unrealistic versus a person that just simply plays it safe all day. Number 2, I get too excited and drift off topic. As you can hear, probably there's put many times probably where I started telling this story and then something else came up. But the overall intention and the overall thing that I was saying, it helps you understand the story, it helps you understand my point in a better way. And number 5, I don't market my brand enough, which I'm telling you right now will not be an issue come 2026. So all that being said, again, business owners, if you have not yet, go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com, or actually just go to makeyourmove.com. You can shop there. You can get a free guide there. You can book me to speak, inquire more about what I do. Looking forward to serving you all and helping you build out a team, build out a brand, build out a staff that has that hunger, that championship mentality. Everyone out there, you guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.